Well, today we're going to dive in a little bit deeper on our master bedroom. I'm going to tell you about some of the design choices in here. Remember, as I said in the intro video a long time ago, when you're in your master bedroom, you want that place to bring you peace, to bring you rest in your soul, to comfort perhaps at times, to be a place where when you crawl in bed every night, you go, oh, one of my favorite places. And so that's what I was really aiming for here in this beautiful space. Now, when we started with a blank canvas here, I knew I wanted this wallpaper. I found this wallpaper. It's by Candace Olson. She was one of the first ever HGTV stars, and she had a line of wallpaper. I saw it in a magazine or two, and I thought, I love that. So my friend Liz found me a swatch of it, and I was able to really look at it in our lighting and to see if it would go. And so we started with the wallpaper, a very natural kind of I love the flow. I love that it kind of reflects nature, like agate or those stones that you find. And that's what it spoke to me like. And I really, really liked it. So from that jumping off point, I started thinking about furnishings. Now, let me show you over here. This piece of furniture I got at a vintage store from my friend Charlotte and Molly, her mom, here in Raleigh. And I bought this piece a long time ago. I had it in our other house as just kind of in the kitchen as a sideboard. And when we moved in here, I thought it almost reminds me of a vintage like vanity table or something. And so that was the inspiration for this corner. I got the sconces I found at the same place that I got this years before with Charlotte and Molly. And Union Camp Collective. I'll link it here in my description. Wonderful place. And I've gotten a lot of my things there. But I found the antique vintage sconces there and this huge, huge mirror for a great price. It is a bear to hang, so we don't move it around. We're going to keep it here. But I just liked how this little space came together as almost like a dressing table. I don't sit here and put on my makeup. I need better lighting than this, but I really love the flavor of it. Wedding picture, this beautiful candelabra. We found this in South Africa. I was looking in a magazine when we were in South Africa years and years ago and saw this candelabra and looked it up in the credits and realized that the shop was just up the street. So our host friends drove us over there and we ended up getting a number of really beautiful pieces. I've talked about this before in various rooms here in their house, but I just love this shell covered. It just moved my soul. And it was not expensive because we got it overseas and then we shipped it and it made it without breaking. And so I've just enjoyed it. I changed the candles out some, put different colors in at different times of the year, but found these really super tall candles from Anthro and loved how it came together. The little stool here is from Home Goods. You know, I love to mix high and low. I like oftentimes to put something modern and clean with something that's more ornate and gushy, I call it. The same with the vintage sconces, more modern, mid-century, and the mirror is a little bit more mid-century with all the ornateness of everything else. We want to balance it out always to where we don't have too much gushy or too much clean line. I like the mix. One of my fashion girls from New York City taught me years ago, Erin Ruffin. She said that in studying trends in fashion, they're the ones that do best, that really break through as a trend, are those that mix the masculine and the feminine. And I don't know that you'd call anything in this corner masculine. And my very masculine husband is so he's so understanding of what I love, but it's that mixing the smooth, clean lines and the more ornate together that is most appealing to the eye. And so when I wake up on my side of the bed and I look over here, it makes me happy. And that's what it's all about. What makes you happy? What makes your heart sing? Even just looking at something that you don't use every day, but it cheers your heart. It makes you feel more joy and more rest in your home and happiness in your home. That's what it's all about. So let's go over to the other side. This chair here in the corner is a Jonathan Adler chair. You guys know, if you've seen a lot of my house, I am a huge Jonathan Adler fan. It's very kind of 50s. It's got that mod flavor. I love going in his store in New York. Spent lots and lots of hours in the Jonathan Adler stores around Manhattan, and I love them. And this chair was on sale. I thought, where am I going to put it? Well, I've loved having it here. I put our bed pillows on this chair at night. I drape my robe after I get ready to get in bed. It's interesting how you can find spots that you actually use a lot, but you might not think of having something like this here. Like it's not, I don't have the chair here because I sit here, but it worked well. I loved it. The beautiful sheepskin. It was a steal of a deal when we bought it. I'm all about the deal. And it's been the perfect little cove for what we've got. I've got a piece of art from my dear friend Jen Ramos. And I love that. She gave me that piece, the little lips, because it is our master bedroom after all. And these end tables, let me tell you about those. I bought these. Rare thing that I do is buy something on Etsy that I can't physically see and touch and feel and know the color really truly rather than just from photos. But I loved these funky kind of mid-century vintage side tables. And fortunately, when I got them, even though the exact color isn't in the wallpaper, they blend. And what I really loved is these curves mimic these curves. And what you want to do is look for common elements. They aren't made to match, but because the lines are similar, they do match and they go together. This sort of peachy color, I don't know how it plays here on the camera, and the marble on the last vintage table, the ornate one over there that I showed you, they speak to each other because they're in that kind of peach family. And so when you see that there are common colors that you can pull in throughout, it really works well. Above the bed, I have a lamp that just moves my soul. I found this vintage wall piece lamp in one of those kind of mall like warehouses. If you love these kind of design places, you've seen them where there are booths all around. And there in one of the booths was this on the wall. And I thought, this is so cool. I love it. Tulips, and they light up, and it's kind of brushed brass. It looks old, but it's modern. And so that light has made its rounds in our houses. It started out in the girls' nursery years ago, and then we brought it to this house. And one day, Lauren, my nanny, and I were putting a lot of this house together, and she held it up, and I said, Lauren, I think that's it. Because again, the curve lines and the organic feel of it go great on the wallpaper. So I light it at night. I love nighttime lighting, and I love walking in my bedroom and seeing that light on the wall. It just brings warm, lovely feelings. It's definitely one of my lovely little luxuries that you guys hear me talk about. Just little things that make a difference. Wasn't expensive, but it's of great value to me. So now I'm going to take you over here for the view back at the master bed. So this table right here, which is a similar finish to my side tables, was actually purchased from one of my favorite places in Charlotte called Slate Interiors. My dear friend Kathy, who lives in Charlotte, I saw it online. I said, Kathy, go look at it. See if you like it, see if it'll work. And I was going to put it in the living room. A lot of times you'll make a design choice because you love something and you'll think you know where it goes until you get it home. Well, at first I thought, oh, did I make a big mistake? Couldn't return it. Kathy brought it all the way from Charlotte. But I finally one day realized that this color and these lines go great with the wallpaper. So I wasn't really planning on putting a bench at the end of the bed, but it fit here and it works here. And so sometimes you get design surprises that are really delightful. So I love for now having it here. Who knows where it'll go in the future, but for now, we love it at the foot of the bed. The duvet cover that I've got on the bed, I personally love white or neutral clean linens on a bed. I have the purple accent here, but I just like it to look like a hotel. And when you go to a fancy high-end hotel, they have white linens or just much more clean, neutral colors. And so that's a choice I've made after having lots of florals and lots of different colors over the years. I finally got to where I really like neutral. It's a cotton duvet cover. It works great for us, how we sleep. We don't want it too hot. We don't want it too cold. And we both really have enjoyed this. We've had this for a long, long time. I wash it in the washing machine, but I send it out to the dry cleaner to have it ironed because it's a lot of work to iron a cotton duvet. And I don't clean it all that often. It doesn't really get that dirty with an undersheet and all that. But I've really, really liked this duvet. Now, interesting story about my throw pillow. You guys know I love Poochie, and I really wanted to have a Poochie pillow for my bedroom, but Poochie pillows are really expensive. And I thought, where am I going to find one with the right colors? Well, one day I'm on a little shopping outing, like I do so very often in New York City, and I walked into my favorite consignment store. There, hanging on the skirt rack, was this Poochie skirt. Is it a skirt? Yes, it is a skirt. In fact, it looks like a pillow. Let's just show it to you here. It's still a skirt with a pillow insert. And I looked at the colors and I thought, I can make this skirt into a pillow. I brought it home. I looked at it with my wallpaper. I thought it's got all the colors. It's got the waves that'll kind of go, the peach and the blush. And then I thought to myself, what if someday I want this as a skirt? So why cut it up? Why ruin all the beautiful patterns? Why not just slip it on and make it a pillow? And so you guys, that's what I did. Why not? And we have to make bold choices sometimes. So this skirt was not expensive. I think it was under $100, and maybe it will be a skirt someday. But for now, it's my beautiful pillow. Doesn't take much to just tuck it in and use it. And I think it's the perfect color and combo. And I don't put it on every day. We are not a make your bed everyday couple. In fact, one of us in the marriage is a never make your bed person. And one of us is, once in a while, we have to make our bed. So I made it for you today. But I do love this pillow. And these 3 pillows sit on that chair over there when we're not using them. So that's how we've made a lot of our design choices for the bed. I love having a throw. I use it. I want it. Ron, on this side, he doesn't need anything much to stay warm. So you make it work for whoever's using your bedroom. The lamps, Home Goods. Love them. They looked high end. I've changed the shades. I've had them for many years. You'll want to update your lampshades occasionally. And we'll talk more about that in the lighting episode. But they yellow over time, and you can get great lampshades online. I think I got these at Home Goods, though, and I happened to find the color I was looking for. Size, shape, material, and all that. This piece over here, we've had for years and years, but I didn't like the knobs anymore when we moved it in here. And so I found these knobs at Home Goods, switched out the knobs. It freshened it up and made it look new again. Someday I'll probably put a dresser here. I've got ideas or two. I always have new ideas coming and new things I'm thinking about. But for now, this has worked well. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Our children, it's a very Southern thing to do, to have large pictures of your family. And we used to have a painting, but we moved to this large photography artist that's here locally, and he makes the painting, it makes the photo look like a painting. And so we have our 4 sons here, of course, and then one of my very dear friends, Pam, gave this to me as I think it was maybe a Mother's Day gift when the girls were born, and I absolutely love it. So the girls, the boys, all of us together, our sweet family. It's always about your family by design.